a member of a gang which smuggled goodie bags of drugs and contraband worth up to 300,000 into a jail, told police he was just out for a jog when he was collared with a drone near the prison walls. Kane, Ashcroft and Daniel Young were spotted by police hurriedly bundling a drone into a bag in a park near HMP Liverpool in Walton, Merseyside. Their arrest led to a conspiracy which saw drugs, tobacco and mobile phones delivered to 7 inmates being brought down. Dozens of similar previous trips, which could have potentially seen illicit goods worth hundreds of thousands of pounds make their way into HMP Liverpool, were revealed as a result. Their activities were uncovered as part of Operation Bakewell, an investigation into the smuggling of contraband into the Category B facility by the use of drones. Gerald Baxter, prosecuting, told Liverpool Crown Court that the Category B facility as the most targeted prison in the country for drone incursions, with the flights being arranged by highly organised and tenacious gangs making staggering profits and resulting in nothing short of disastrous consequences. One such delivery on December the 20th, 2021 was thwarted when a device was seen flying near to Maguire Avenue in Bootle. Officers then witnessed Ashcroft and Young crouching down in a nearby playing field and placing the drone into a bag. They ran off at the sight of the officers, with his accomplice walking away, but both were arrested and the bag in question was found beside a tree with the drone, a controller with a mobile phone attached, and a quantity of tobacco and 3 packages of cannabis inside. Ashcroft stated that he was just out for a jog when he was collared. A black iPhone was recovered from the 36-year-old when he was held. Meanwhile, Young told PCs that he was taking a shortcut home. A second drone was later found during a search of the 29-year-old's home in February 2022 after he was detained over an unrelated matter. Data discovered on the first drone recorded a total of 7 previous flights, 4 of which had been undertaken from the same field into HMP Liverpool. The telephone connected to the controller, meanwhile, showed 48 separate flights from June 2021 onwards from a variety of locations, such Ashcroft's partner's home, with 31 being made into the jail and 1 to HMP Hindley in Wigan. The second drone contained records of 9 flights between November 2021 and January 2022, including 6 to Walton Prison. Ashcroft's phone was also analysed and was found to contain a large number of messages exchanged with Tootle and a second prisoner, who cannot be named for legal reasons, but will be sentenced at a late date over his involvement between May and December 2021. These regularly discuss the trafficking of contraband by drones. Mr. Baxter outlined how 2 mobile phones, a charger, and 35 grams of cannabis had previously been found in Tootle's cell on September the 17th, 2021, although it could not be established whether these items belonged to the 43-year-old of Atheldean Road in Walton or his fellow occupant. The court was told that prices for mobile phones within prison can range from $500 for a basic handset up to $1,500 for an iPhone. The 62 gram of cannabis seized from the bag was said to have a street value of between £350 and £500, but could have been worth 3,100 to 4,650 within the jail. The tobacco seized, meanwhile, would have been priced at 20 to 50 at retail, but valued at between 2,800 and 3,150 behind bars. Mr. Baxter added, based on the 40 recorded flights, the contraband flown into HMP Liverpool by this conspiracy could be worth 236,000 to 312,000 over a period of about 8 months. Several examples of the messages exchanged between the conspirators were read out to the court during the hearing. In one, Ashcroft asked the second inmate, whom he called JJ, "Did you get your goodie bag?" The prisoner then replied, still trying to get it over, which Mr. Baxter said suggests that someone else had collected the bag and it was delivered to JJ. Similarly, Tootle was nicknamed Ned during the texts. On another occasion, Ashcroft asked, "When are you looking for a top-up?" He was told, "At the weekend," with JJ later sending him a message to say, "We're ready." This was followed up by, "We enjoyed that." On another occasion, the smugglers discussed how the weather looked perfect and added, "Saturday is good." Skilled pilot Ashcroft was previously handed a 9-month imprisonment suspended for 18 months for an offence of aggravated vehicle taking in July 2021. Tootle was his co-defendant on this occasion and received 14 months. Tom Walton, representing Ashcroft, told the court he has continued as the main carer for his mother, who suffers considerably. In addition, he has, and always has been, in his life, a hands-on father and stepfather. He tried, unsuccessfully, to start his own business that was a car repair and spraying business, because he does have some qualifications. He hopes he might be able to start that sort of business again in the future. He got into difficulties, in particularly when the COVID-19 struck the world. He sees that his way forward, his concerns are not for himself, they are for his mother, they are for his children, and they are for his partner. He has tried his best to be responsible about that, known the sentence. He has not tried to hold a gun to the court's head. He has done the responsible thing. He has done what he can and made responsible arrangements, in particular, for as far as his mother is concerned. He has shown a level of responsibility that he now needs to show. He is genuinely sorry. He looks at his record and he is not proud of it. It is no example to his children, but he has no intention of finding himself in the dock of a court again. Philip Asbury, defending Tootle, said he was using cannabis heavily at the time he went into prison, a reaction to bereavement and an attempt to pass the time and numb the pain. Since that prison sentence, he has made very positive steps in improving his personal circumstances. He has given up cannabis, he has given up cigarettes and taken up a hobby and become more mindful of his physical and mental health. To have stayed out of trouble for so long and to have taken such positive steps and turned things around to the extent he has, there is now an irony. He is under no illusions as to the type of sentence he faces. He is realistic, but it will inevitably set him back in those very positive strides he has made over a long period. He hopes the positive strides will be no more than interrupted, and he will pick up where he left off. Charles Lander, appearing on behalf of Young, meanwhile described his client as a valued member of the company where he is employed as a qualified roofer, and said that he had a bright future within the roofing and construction industry. He added his role was to drive when directed to locations near to Walton prison. He had no knowledge of how many times that drone had been used previously. The drone recovered from his address did not belong to him, but he had agreed to store it in his house. Frankly, he joined this conspiracy for financial reasons. He had split up from his partner, and there were issues in relation to money. Stupidly, he involved himself in this conspiracy. The defendant openly admits that when he dropped his son off at nursery, he burst into tears. Daniel Young has never been to prison before, although he does have an antecedent history. The court could impose a sentence that allows him to see his son and carry on the good work he is doing with the roofing company. Ashcroft of Cedardale Road in Walton admitted 3 charges of conspiracy to convey a prohibited article into a prison and breaching a suspended sentence order. He was jailed for 3 years. Tootle and Young of Stalmine Road in Walton pleaded guilty to 2 counts of the same offence. They were locked up for 44 months and 9 months respectively. Sentencing Judge Charlotte Crangle said, "What is clear is that you, Neil Tootle, and the other male who is not present today were prisoners at the time. You had access to illicit telephones which enabled you to place orders with those on the outside. In Ashcroft, you were a long-standing friend of Neil Tootle. You would exchange messages in order to place orders. Thereafter, the items would be distributed within the prison estate. These are items which become of high value once in prison. The supply of drugs into prison is a serious problem. It leads to the exploitation and bullying and gives power to the ruthless prisoners and undermines good order. The consequences of such items being smuggled into prison are disastrous. It increases violence in prison, both between prisoners and against staff. It also involves manipulation and gangs taking part in the supply into prison. It also has a knock-on effects on prisoners, families on the outside being threatened and made to pay for those items. The conspiracy was professional, sophisticated, well organised and planned. Kane Ashcroft, you were clearly the contact on the outside, arranging and conducting the drone flights. Neil Tootle, you were an equal partner in this commercial enterprise. Daniel Young, you were clearly involved on the outside of the prison, but you joined later and you were not as involved as the other 2. You were, you say, a driver. It is clear that you were also in the field providing support for Kane Ashcroft, and you also, even after your arrest, were involved in continuing drone flights by storing that second drone which was recovered from you. Please like this video, please comment, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you.